Hey everyone, welcome back to the FU Cancer podcast. Today we're diving into one of the hardest but most empowering conversations we can have: end of life planning and setting expectations. When people hear end of life planning, their minds often go straight to the worst case scenario. But what it really means is living well, even in the face of illness. It's about understanding your options, expressing your wishes, and making sure your care aligns with what matters most to you. This includes things like advanced directives, do not resuscitate orders, symptom management, hospice, and even legacy building. It's about removing the guesswork for your family and your care team and creating a roadmap that honors your values. Joining us today is registered nurse Barbara Karnes. Barbara's voice is one of the most trusted in end of life education. Her insights have been featured in the New York Times, USA Today, the Huffington Post, Thrive Global, and the Washington Post, among others. She is a recipient of the NHPCO Innovator Award, honoring her decades of work as an end-of-life educator and the impact of her iconic book, Gone From My Sight: The Dying Experience, lovingly known as the Hospice Blue Book. Barbara's career spans over 40 years and began as a hospice pioneer during the height of the AIDS crisis. She has walked along countless patients and families as a nurse at the bedside and has also served in leadership roles, including executive director of hospice and home health agencies, clinical director, patient care manager, and volunteer. In addition to her caregiving work, Barbara has dedicated her life to education. She is the author of numerous booklets, films, and articles, and is the voice behind a widely read blog that demystifies the dying process. This episode is about taking control when everything feels out of control. It's about choice, dignity, and love. And it's not about giving up. It's about showing up fully, fearlessly, and ready for whatever comes next. Thanks for listening to the FU Cancer podcast. My name is Christina Rollins. I'm a dietitian, mom, and wife to a pretty awesome cancer survivor. We said FU to cancer nearly 25 years ago and are still going strong. I'm excited to share the FU Cancer movement, where we are a community of survivors, fighters, caregivers, and advocates, connecting our shared experiences, passion, and determination to live a holistic and well-balanced life. Stay tuned, because we've got a lot to talk about. Yeah. Well, Barbara, thank you so much for joining us today on the FU Cancer podcast.
I'm excited to have this opportunity. This will be really good. I'm excited about it.
Well, let's start with the basics. When people hear end of life planning, their minds often go, I think, to the worst case scenario. But what does it really mean when we say those words?
When we say end of life planning, we're looking at advanced directives. We're looking at durable medical power of attorney. And something I think a lot of people don't know or think about is for our children that turn 18.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have an advance directive as a parent, you really don't have much to say. Hopefully, you've got a doctor that will listen, but maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
So, we want our children at 18, because they're an adult, to have an advance directive. Everyone should have an advance directive, because if you don't, you will live and die the way the medical establishment wants you to, not the way you want to. And of course, what's hard about this is we Americans in particular, if I talk about death and dying, if I do something to address death and dying, then I may die. So we put it off, or, I'm 40 years old, I'm not going to die.
Mm-hmm.
All of us are going to die, and none of us know really when. So that's just really good planning.
Well, and I think sometimes there's a misconception that end of life planning means that I've given up. And it's not. It's that I'm taking control of my life. But I mean, have you seen that in your practice too, where people, it's kind of scary because they don't want to give up or say that they're ending when that's not what they really mean?
Well, and it's not really what an advance directive means. It just means if something happens, then here's what I'd like. And I think that most of us have in the back of our mind, you know, When it comes my time to die, then I want to be home in my bed with the cat on the bed and family around. And with an advanced directive, then you can pretty much say that's what I want. Um, it doesn't mean that you think you're going to die now. You don't have to wait until you have a diagnosis of a life-threatening illness. There are only two ways to die: gradual or fast. And fast death is getting hit by a truck out here, heart attack, suicide. You're alive 1 minute, you're dead the next. Or disease. And disease happens, or let's back up and say a gradual death. And disease causes a gradual death, but so does old age. And so those are the two ways that we die gradually. Well, if we're dying a gradual death, then we've got time to write an advance directive. But none of us know. So that's why you want it when you're 18, when you're 30, when you're 50.
Well, you and I both know that times of crisis is not the time to be rushing toward this decision. So when is a good time to start? Like when should I start working on my advance directive?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, what I have found is number one, they're always changeable.
Mhm.
Um, but to put down what you would like, just in a basic, simple, um, I don't want to have a code. I want to know code if there's for sure no way you can fix me. You can put things like that. It's changeable. Tomorrow, if I go, oh, I changed my mind, you change your mind. It's easy to go online and print out an advance directive. It's not enough to just have it. You have to give it to people so that they know you have it. So you want to give it to your physician and you say, this is what I'm thinking right now. Next week I may think differently, but right now this is what I want. And then you have to tell your family. You've got to tell those close to you that will be involved with you if there's a problem. And I think that you all you also need a durable medical power of attorney. So it's not just getting an advance directive. You need both of those. And I can't stress that enough.
So what are some of the common fears that you hear when you're working with someone through end of life planning? And then how do you ease some of those fears?
Um, I think all of us are going to be afraid of dying and of death, and that's part of the reason we don't want to do this. Um, I think that my reassurance is that we're just talking about it. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. And let's explore, let's just talk about it before you put a pencil and paper to it. Let's talk about what does concern you. What are you afraid of? Do you know what a DNR means? Do you know what a no code means? So, knowledge is so important. With end of life work, education is 90% of the work in end of life because we don't deal with end of life or dying because of our fear. And that's what keeps us really from protecting ourselves and getting our wishes known.
I think some people are afraid to ask their doctor what's really happening, whether it's they're the person with the diagnosis, or it could be a loved one who's accompanying somebody, that has a diagnosis. So how do we walk the line between being honest with both the doctor and ourselves about the prognosis and then still maintaining that factor of hope within our conversation?
You brought up, for remind me if I get off track, but um, you mentioned having someone with you.
Mhm.
That is imperative. That do not go to a physician. I don't care if you've got a toenail ache, you know, take someone with you because you need another set of ears and
Mhm.
another mind to help you process what's going on because it's scary when our body isn't working right. And fear keeps us from hearing what's really going on.
Mhm.
I think that you need to let your physician know what you want. How can I put this? You want him to tell you the truth. You
Mhm.
want him to say, I know this is hard for you to hear, but, and you've got your other person there to listen and hear it too. Ask questions. Google is your best friend. If you've been given a diagnosis, start Googling treatment options, medication options for whatever it is that's wrong with you. And so that you can ask knowledgeable questions. Also, this popped into my head is do not let your physician talk medical ease to you.
Mhm.
Say, I want you to talk to me in plain, regular, ordinary English so that I can understand what you're talking about.
Mhm.
So often we sit there, we nod our head up and down as we're listening to the physician tell us what's going on, and really, we don't have a clue
Mhm.
because of all the medical ease that they're talking. So when you sit down with a physician, say, I don't want all this medical stuff. I want you to tell me in regular, plain language what's going on.
Well, I think that's normal that the vast majority of individuals are not healthcare professionals. They don't have that acumen that physicians and nurses and other people do. So they do need it broken down in plain language.
I can remember sitting with my mother with our hospice medical director in his office. Long story about how she got there. I'm not going to go into that. But he's talking to her and telling her about her body. And she's sitting there in her little hospital gown, nodding her head up and down. And I said, David, speak English. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Mhm.
And if I didn't, as a hospice nurse and director, then I was sure my mother didn't have a clue, but it looked like she did. And so it's really, I believe it's up to the physician, but I've got to tell you, that isn't always what happens. So we have to be our own advocate. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't understand what you're telling me. Ask questions, make them spend time with you so that you understand what they're telling you.
Well, I've heard patients say that they want their story to mean something and that they want to leave something behind. So, what does a legacy look like in these moments of end of life planning?
Wow. I'm not sure. I guess a legacy would be what is so individual that I can't really put a definition to it. It's what your heart tells you you want to say and do and be remembered. And we all really have that within us, whether we're sick or not,
Mhm.
that we want to, what are we going to leave behind? Who's going to remember us? What are they going to remember us for? Those thoughts become more paramount when we've been told we're having difficulty fixing you. But I think they're always in the back of our mind if we gave it a minute.
Well, you're such a wealth of information. I appreciate you sharing your insights with us. Is there anything else you'd like to share as we wrap up this episode?
Oh, goodness. Um, we are born, we experience, and we die. That's what life is all about. We are born into this world and we go through labor to get into this world. We go through labor to leave it. There's so many similarities between birth and death. And most of us are so wrapped up in any given moment of our life that we don't really think about the overall picture of our life. But when we've been told we can't be fixed or we're having trouble fixing you, it's kind of like all of a sudden the blinders are off and it's, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? And that's where palliative care comes in. That's where hospice comes in, um, to have some support and some guidance. It's you don't want to do this road alone. You want as much help and support as you have and can find. Don't do it alone.
Well, Barbara, thank you so much again for joining us today and for sharing your wisdom. I really do appreciate it.
It's been delightful being here, and I think we've covered some important topics.
And
Thank you for the work you're doing, Christina, in getting this information out there.
absolutely. And listeners, I do want to direct you to Barbara's website, www.bkbooks.com. And if you found this episode insightful, please like and share us on your favorite podcast channel. And of course, visit our website at fucancer.health. Until next time, I'm Christina Rollins. Thanks for listening.